This week on C Plus News Time, a Fox pilot lands a pretty big name cast, and Spotify gets early access to WNYC podcasts. Remember when Spotify was super pissy about Apple Music getting exclusives for weeks at a time? While that practice has died off, the green streamer is striking back with exclusive podcasts that affects not just regular listeners and fans, but everyone who listens to podcasts in general. The practice has been done already with the likes of Stitcher Premium and Earwolf's Howl, but now it seems that exclusivity of what used to be free is a trending topic, and I'm fucking pissed. Find out why on this C Plus News Time. Well, I guess you already know why, but not exactly. Just watch this, please, guys.
It's C Plus News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
This episode of News Time is brought to you by Boulder Mattresses. Does your back hurt? Then you probably have a Boulder mattress. Use offer code C Plus in order to get $25 off of your $900 mattress. Boulder Mattresses. You'll be waking up saying, "Ah!" Welcome back to C Plus News Time. I'm your host, Chad White. This is the comedy news you didn't know about for the week of March 13th, 2017. First up, one of Fox's new pilots is shaping up nicely. The show, Type A, is based on a book called Assholes, a Theory from Aaron James. The pilot, which was ordered back in January, is written by New Girl writer Leslie Wake Webster and Modern Family writer Jason Weiner. It follows consultants whose job it is to fire people. No one likes them, but they like each other, so that's all that really matters. But the news here is that Eva Longoria has joined the cast, which includes Andy Richter, Ken Marino, Kyle Boromir, and Steve Harris. Should this series be picked up, it would fare as a nice replacement for New Girl, which has been rumored to end this season. And finally, Spotify's podcasting push has now picked up popular podcasts on WNYC. It's no secret that the green streamer has been looking to edge its way past music and into multimedia. They have a YouTube account with some of their amazing in-studio performances dubbed Spotify Sessions. BT Dubs, the one with Ty Dolla $ign and Wiz Khalifa performing or Nah, is the reason for the season. Then there's their insistence on uploading videos to their platform, which was a hot-button topic in January 2016. In fact, during that time, they made videos from the likes of ESPN, Comedy Central, BBC, Vice News, and a few others readily viewable on their phone apps and desktop apps. But now they want early access to podcasts. Cue last week's story on Engadget regarding the matter. The tech site reported that Spotify and WNYC reached a deal where the public station shows, arguably the most famous in terms of public radio, will be uploaded to the service ahead of a worldwide release. But the much abhorred practice is one that their competitor has tried and not really failed at. Apple Music, the prince of music subscriptions, carried out a similar method except with music. Beyonce, Drake, Frank Ocean, and other non-black but less successful artists have had their work held hostage on the service for weeks, months, even a year or two at a time. Yes, you could buy the music on iTunes, download it, and then import those MP3 flat files to your music service of choice, but that's a convoluted but simple way of doing things. Why shouldn't I be able to have Bay on my Nexus 6P day one? This isn't console gaming. We don't need exclusives.
Hey guys, I just want to interrupt this episode of News Time to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Plaster Condoms. If your girl likes the feeling of a dildo more than you because your penis is so small, then buy Plaster Condoms. Use offer code CHAD at checkout to get free shipping on your first order. Plaster Condoms, a better way to slay.
But Spotify isn't targeting music. As I mentioned before, they're in the midst of expanding their portfolio. And it seems that WNYC is too. The network is still young, although the shows aren't. Having been established in 2015, WNYC is just an umbrella production house for the shows under NPR's banner. Now shows like Freakonomics, Radiolab, and worst of all, Two Dope Queens and So Many White Guys will be behind a streaming wall for weeks. And I can't live without my Phoebe Robinson for too long. There is a bit of good news in the deal. Two Dope Queens is only going to have a 2-week exclusivity window. but there's no telling how long you'll have to wait for other shows. As it stands, some of these shows have off weeks wherein they upload an older episode. They even can come in back sporadically, airing episodes bi-weekly or bi-monthly. Spotify, I thought you were above this. Apparently not. What's more is when the exclusive album that was once available only on services like Apple Music and Tidal finally makes its way to Spotify, the streamer buries it because they're petty. I actually think that's kind of cool and sexy. Go ahead and deny the act. We know you do it, Spotify. No one blames you. As it stands, Apple Music still trails behind Spotify in terms of subscribers, lagging by about 20 million people. You can chalk that up to who was on the scene first. But Apple Music has something that nails Spotify. It's built into the phone. But Spotify wants to be the one-stop shop for all things listenable. Podcasts are built right into its OS, while Apple keeps music and podcasts in two separate apps. Getting back on track, podcast exclusivity isn't completely novel. Shows like WTF with Mark Maron and Never Not Funny with Jimmy Pardo were locked behind their own self-instituted paywalls until they found their own ways to go partially free. Earwolf, one of the best comedy podcast networks, and trust me, there are a lot, recently created Howl, a podcast app and website for exclusive shows. But these shows aren't just any regular podcast. They're mini-series, comedy tours, scripted series like the early radio days. There are even dozens of comedy records from huge artists thanks to a special thing, Records. Here's the thing though, the app is trash. Super smelly garbage that somehow made its way to the Google Play Store and App Store. And the launch was one of the more terrible business moves I've seen in the last year. Actually, the first episode of On Comedy covered this whole debacle. Ugh, would you look at that haircut? So, the Howl user experience sucks, but the shows are magnificent. Now, Earwolf or Midroll or whoever's in charge has decided to head to Stitcher Premium with the new shows, which is kind of what CISO did with Amazon channels in that you subscribe via the Amazon app rather than the site. The prices are the same, but you get the better app experience because someone else built it. It's smart, yes, but there are some drawbacks. For one, users would rather much use that Widow Howl app for their podcasting pleasure. Actually, they'd rather use their regular podcasting app, but the company is not readily providing a way to do that, so a Reddit user took it upon themselves to create the unofficial RSS feeds that work wonders. User beware, Stitcher has been cited as bad for podcasting. A Redditor on r/Earwolf warned us that they, of all bad things, put their own ads on top of shows and don't share the profit. Just like the world of music, the world of podcasting is befuddling, shameful, and hard to circumvent for fledgling and old studios that just want to pay their talent money. Where does that leave podcasting paywalls? Are they good or bad for the industry? I mean, they do help the people we listen to day in and day out get paid, but they keep great shows from being accessed. Howl has the previously free archives of Comedy Bang Bang, How Did This Get Made, Hollywood Handbook, and several other favorites. Now, when you tell a friend to check out an episode from 3 years ago, they have to shell out $5 in order to laugh. For WNYC, public broadcasting is hard. On top of that, they have to provide studio time to professionals who devote their free time to researching, interviewing, and entertaining. This sucks, I know, but we all want our favorite hosts to live good lives as they help us with ours. The only issue, there has to be a better way for all this to go down.
Hey guys, just wanted to give another quick shout out to one of today's other sponsors, Wet Socks. Don't you hate it when you accidentally step in a spot where you spilled a little bit of water and you have to schlep all the way back to the dresser to get a dry pair of socks? Worry no more, because Wet Socks are an always damp pair of socks. Wet Socks, they're useless.
And that's all the news I have for you for this week on C Plus News Time. Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can always head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where we got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits that only I can provide you with. Follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Tumblr with us on Tumblr. And be sure, if you want to advertise on this show, go ahead. We got so many ad slots open for you. And if you want a free ad-free version of this show, why don't you subscribe to our Patreon? Patreon is at DIKPIKADAY. We'll provide you with a bunch of pics of the animals that are dick dicks. Like that one. Put a dick there. Okay, bye.